No Weapon Will Succeed, A Havoc in Wyoming. Bonus Story by Millie Copper.
The explosion throws me out of bed. I hit the floor as my bedroom window shatters, glass raining down on me like deadly hail. Another blast rocks the house. Something big blew up close by. Too close. The whole frame shudders and studs crack somewhere in the walls. I grab my semi-auto shotgun from its position by my bed, my hands shaking with adrenaline as I stare out the window. From my place, I can only catch the slightest view of State Street, the main road through town and where the fire seems to be concentrated. The explosion might have been from the gas station on the corner. People are running in the streets, some toward the flames, others away from them. There are shots too, but not close. More toward the river. Was it us or them? Did someone from town finally have enough and make the first move? Or did the road crew decide they were no longer satisfied with being relegated to the motel and campground? We painted them as outcasts and forced them to survive on their own. We could have worked together, probably should have, but from the start of the disaster, they stayed to themselves. Or it could have been us. Perhaps the way we acted made it clear they weren't welcome. We would take care of our own and nothing more. Folks in Metitsi could be cliquish. I saw it when I moved here 20 years ago, following my brother and his wife for a fresh start. He died 5 years back, and his wife remarried and moved to Colorado, leaving me here on my own. By that time, I was a member of the town, still considered a newcomer, but accepted. Things were different back in those days. Hurt feelings and harsh words didn't decide life or death. Now they did. We knew it was only a matter of time. We knew we had to act before they did. Too late. Far too late. Now my town, my friends, will pay the price. My phone's dead. It has been since the EMP hit 3 weeks ago. No way to coordinate with anyone, no way to call for help that isn't coming anyway. The nearest sheriff's office is 40 miles away, and their vehicles died the same day ours did. We're on our own, the same as we've been since this nightmare started. I need to get to the action, see what's happening, help however I can. This is my town, my people. I've been mayor for 2 years, and before that I was on the town council for 4. These aren't merely constituents. They're neighbors, friends, family even. I dress quickly, pulling on jeans and running shoes, stuffing my pockets with extra shells. The gun holds 7 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. I alternate between 12-gauge slugs and double-aught buckshot, my favorite combination for defense. Not that I've ever had to use it, but the firepower is there if I need it, and it seems tonight I need it. My hip holster and 9mm are ready. I strap it on, sliding the extra magazine holder into place. Gun on the right, extra mag on the left, exactly as I've been practicing for weeks. I'd never carried a weapon before, except on trips into bear country. Once the disaster hit, it became part of my daily gear, safety first, and all that. Outside, smoke drifts on the night air, thick and acrid, carrying the smell of burning wood and something else, something chemical. The gas station on the corner has been dry for weeks, but that doesn't mean something isn't burning. Residual left in the tanks or pumps. More gunfire from north of town, rapid bursts followed by single shots. Different weapons, different shooters, too organized to be random violence. The guard station is at this end of town, smart move to take them out first. Even with the clear divide between us and the road crew, who the disaster had stranded here, we'd managed a sort of truce. It wasn't cooperation, but they seemed to understand that setting up guard posts, what we called welcome stations, to make them sound friendlier benefited them as much as us. We underestimated them. They were only marking time, anticipating the best moment. The attack on the young girl a few days ago should have been our wake-up call. Quick thinking by her family and those she was traveling with kept her from serious harm, and the attackers ended up dead. Still, we should have expected things to come to a head. The road workers, holed up in a motel across the Grey Bull River, said the men who attacked the girl were no longer with them. They claimed that those men had caused trouble in the group and that the de facto leader, Troy Kaiser, had thrown them out. A reasonable story, if it were true. Shotgun, pistol, and extra ammo are ready. I give myself a nod and say, okay, let's go. My heart is pounding as I step out of my house, checking for obvious and immediate trouble. So far, so good, I whisper. With a deep breath, I jog toward the gunfire, staying in the shadows between houses, using every piece of cover available. My heart beats faster with every footstep and sweat beads on my forehead despite the cool night air. The combination of exertion and fear has my adrenaline on overdrive. Ahead, figures move between houses, too far to tell if they're townspeople or road crew. A muzzle flash lights up someone's front porch, followed by the crack of a rifle. The screams are coming from the direction of the camping area, a small park where we've set up travelers. It's situated on the opposite side of the river from the hotel used by the road crew. It's too close to potential danger, but it's what we have to offer. Mistakes were made. Big ones. Trust was thrown too far, and now we're paying the price. Innocent people are paying the price. A scream cuts through the night, high-pitched and desperate. A woman's voice, coming from B's house, turned medical center down the block. It stopped without warning, leaving only the crackle of flames and distant gunfire. I changed direction, cutting through backyards toward B's place, jumping fences and dodging clotheslines. She's helped every traveler who's come through town since the crisis started, always has food and medical supplies ready, never asks for anything in return, simply does it because it's right. If they're hitting her house, they're hitting the heart of this community. The back gate to B's yard is standing open, hanging crooked on its hinges like someone kicked it in. I reach her fence line as the patio door swings open. 3 men step through, each struggling under the weight of boxes and bags, their pace hurried and uneven. One carries a high-capacity rifle on a 3-point sling. Even with a box under one arm, he could raise it and fire in an instant. The other 2 have long guns slung across their backs and would be slower to react. All 3 look rough, unshaven, desperate. I slip behind an old tree, planted when the town was first founded and tended over the years. Got enough food to last us a month, one says, hefting a canvas bag that clinks with canned goods. Not if we take it back to the group, the man holding the AR says. I'm telling you, our best bet is to hit a few more houses, get what we can, and get out of here. What about the old lady? The youngest one, mid-20s, asks as he glances back at the house. She ain't gonna be a problem anymore, AR dude says. Tried to fight back with that old hunting rifle of hers. Didn't work out too good for her. They're talking about B. Is she dead? Fury surges through me, burning like molten metal in my veins. That woman hurt no one during her entire time on this earth. Was always there with a smile and a kind word. She used to work for the doctor in town before he retired and moved on, leaving us to rely on trips to Cody for medical care. But B was always there. People knew her, trusted her. We viewed her as our own private triage nurse or urgent care provider. She evaluated and knew when to send us to town for proper care, when to get an ambulance, or when she could handle things. She patched up kids when they fell off their bikes, calmed nervous first-time mothers, and was even a hospice volunteer and sat with dying folks when their families couldn't be there. During the first days of the trouble, even before the EMP attack, we came to rely on her even more. When the cyber attack happened and fuel became an issue, she organized people who were willing to act as makeshift ambulance drivers, taking their personal vehicles to Cody or donating fuel for the proper ambulance. After the EMP hit, making most vehicles inoperable and the journey to Cody extraordinarily difficult, she assumed a larger role, being our nurse and doctor wrapped in one, training others to help but shouldering the bulk of the responsibility on her own. Even the thought of them killing B makes it clear what I need to do. I need to stop them. They are not leaving this yard alive. I debate between the shotgun and the pistol. The hoodlums are close enough that either will work. The plan forms in my mind. Take out AR dude first. He's the biggest threat. I bring up the shotgun as they move in my direction, my hands steady despite the fury burning in my chest. 30 yards. Perfect range for the slug as long as my shot is true. My first blast drops AR dude. The sound echoes between houses like thunder, and his body collapses into B's flower garden. I repeat the process before his buddies can react, muscle memory from years of hunting taking over. The second one staggers but keeps moving, dark blood spreading across his shirt like spilled paint. I put another round in him, and he goes down hard, groceries scattering across B's carefully tended yard. The third one, the youngest of the group, dives behind B's birdbath. The small concrete structure provides minimal cover but gives him the confidence to shoot back. Buckshot peppers the surrounding fence, and I duck against the trunk of the tree as pellets chew up the wood, splinters flying like shrapnel. A low whisper of "Mayor" carries from the neighbor's yard. Back against the tree, I search out the caller. There he is. One of my hunting buddies, Roger Fielding, lifts a couple of fingers and points at the guy hiding behind the birdbath. Roger's 30-06 hunting rifle is at the ready. He signals he's going to move. I give a nod and pull my pistol to provide cover fire for him. The murdering scoundrel only has to show himself, and I can finish this. Bring the final killer to justice. As Roger moves, the killer stays put, making himself as small as possible behind that cement birdbath. I don't even have a shot. Here! Roger hisses from a second tree about 50 yards away. He's managed to flank him. The trapped man realizes he's caught between us and makes a desperate run for it, sprinting toward the street with his head down. Roger's rifle cracks once, the sound sharp and clean in the night air. The runner goes down hard, tumbling across the garden like a broken doll. "How many more?" Roger asks as we regroup, checking the bodies to make sure they're down for good. His voice remains steady and professional, while his eyes reflect a barely concealed fury. "Far as I know, only the 3. They are the only ones that came out of B's place." "And you haven't seen her?" I shake my head. "I'm going in. See?" I shrug. "Maybe she's okay." "Yeah, maybe." Roger's voice holds even less conviction than mine. Inside the house, we confirm our worst fears. On the living room floor, B's lifeless body cradles her late husband's rifle. "She was a good woman," Roger says, his voice cracking. He'd asked her out more than once, and though she'd never officially accepted, they often sat together at the local restaurant during the early morning coffee socials. Roger had insisted she would say yes someday. Now, his long-awaited date with B would never happen. "We'll come back for her," I say. "Give her a proper burial, but we need to get this wrapped up." I motion out the window. "Those guys part of the road crew?" "Don't know. Not for certain. I didn't recognize any of them, but from what they said, that's my guess. They mentioned hitting a few more houses before striking out on their own. There are enough people over there now that it's not only the original road workers. I suspect they've been taking on stragglers, planning for this. Seems they may have hit the welcome station." I gesture toward the orange glow rising from that direction, smoke billowing into the star-filled sky. "Listen." We both freeze, straining our ears. Gunfire from at least 4 different locations around town. Shouts and screams carry on the night wind, the crackle of flames eating through buildings that took decades to build. This isn't random. It's coordinated, planned. "Let's go," Roger says, taking a last look at B before heading towards the front door. We move toward the center of town together, staying low, using parked cars and garden sheds for cover. My knees protest. I'm 54 years old, not exactly built for urban warfare, but adrenaline keeps me moving. While we never catch sight of the invaders, we know they are there, waiting to pounce. The gunfire's heavier now, multiple weapons creating a deadly symphony, semi-automatic rifles mixed with shotguns and hunting rifles. "There," Roger whispers, pointing toward State Street. Flames are shooting 20 feet into the air at the gas station and convenience store at the corner of State and Park Avenue. As we approach, the heat is unbearable. We catch sight of a nearby group, standing well away from the flames, our people with weapons in hand but not bothering to fight the fire. Without proper equipment, it would be a hopeless effort. At least it appears contained to the store and pumps. Hopefully, the blaze won't spread to the next block, where the downtown area has wooden sidewalks and most of the town's businesses are located. "What's the situation?" I ask, glancing over the group. 21 people, armed with a mix of weapons. Not enough, but it'll have to do. Most are older. The young leave town as soon as they finish school, off to college or chasing opportunities in bigger cities. Since the disaster began, a few have returned, but most parents still worry about their adult children. "Took out the guard station," someone explains, motioning in the direction of the Gray Bull River and Cody beyond where we set up a guard station. "Killed Charlie. Poor kid didn't have a chance. We assume the others who were standing sentry are also dead, but we haven't seen the bodies. After setting fire to the checkpoint, they dispersed in groups targeting homes and shops. They knew exactly where to go, Tom. This isn't random." "Casualties?" "Charlie for sure, others in the firefight." Roger announces to the group, "We lost B. We got the sorry son of a... I cut him off. Let's end this before anyone else gets hurt." Roger's mouth tightens into a thin line as he shakes his head. "Oh, I'm going to end it all right. They're going to be sorry they started this." I put my hand on his shoulder and give a squeeze. "How many are there?" "Around 20, 25, working in teams of 3 or 4, professional-like." I feel the weight of leadership settling on my shoulders like a lead blanket. These people are looking to me for answers, for hope, for a way out of this nightmare. But I'm a small-town mayor who sells insurance for a living. What do I know about fighting wars? My gaze settles on those gathered. A few were in the military. Most are hunters or outdoorsmen and women. People who know how to handle themselves and remember that I'm not alone. None of us is alone. "We can't let them burn down everything," I say, raising my voice so everyone can hear. This is our home. These are our neighbors they're killing, our friends, our family. Murmurs of agreement ripple through the group. Fear in their eyes, yes, but determination too. These are people who built something from nothing, who survived harsh winters and economic downturns, who've weathered every crisis by sticking together. People who will do what they have to do. "What's the plan, Tom?" asked Kristen Riley, an elementary school teacher. She's holding a .308 rifle like she knows how to use it, and from the pictures I saw of the elk she took down last year, she does. "We divide into 3 groups. Roger, you take 6 people and station yourself by the park. Be ready in case they try to cross the bridge to retreat to the other side of the river. Cut them off. Mike, take 6 with you. Station yourselves on the other side of state. Pay attention to where Roger and his team are. We don't want any friendly fire incidents. The rest of us will search them out, funnel them back toward you. We finish this." The plan sounds solid, but what do I know? Hunting deer and elk is nothing like hunting men. "What if there's more of them than we think?" Kristen asks, gripping her rifle so tight her knuckles are white. "We kill as many as we can, and make the rest wish they'd stayed at their motel," Roger says, his voice flat and deadly. "They killed B. They killed Charlie. Who knows how many others. They burned down our town. This ends tonight." It's not complicated tactics, but it doesn't need to be. These aren't trained soldiers. They're desperate men who got organized and thought they could take whatever they wanted. They're about to learn the difference between looting and fighting people who have something to lose. Roger checks his rifle, nods to the people assigned to his group. "Give us 10 minutes to get in position." "Mike?" "We'll be ready." Mike's hands shake as he repositions his rifle, but his voice is steady. "They burned down my life's work, Tom." He motions towards the corner station. 30 years building that business. Even with the EMP, I thought maybe there was some way we could use it, turn it into a trading post or something. But now, he shakes his head. "I'm ready. Let's do this." The next few minutes feel like hours. We watch Roger's group disappear into the shadows, moving with surprising stealth for a bunch of civilians. Most of them are hunters, used to moving through the woods, and it shows. Mike's group circles wide, heading off State Street and into the neighborhood. They'll come around the backside to get behind the road crew positions. That leaves me with 9 people, including Kristen, the teacher. Not an army, but they're all people I trust. "Remember," I tell them as we prepare to move out, "these men are killers. They've already shown they won't hesitate to shoot anyone who gets in their way. Don't take chances. Don't be heroes. We go in hard and fast, using every advantage we can get." We advance toward where the gunfire is loudest, using doorways and parked cars for cover. When there's a lull in the gunfire, I give a gesture I hope they'll recognize as the signal to open fire. This is something we should have discussed in advance. Too late now. I take a shot, expecting them to follow my lead. Bullets crack through the air, the sound harsh and chaotic, but coordinated enough to push them back. The road crew realizes they're under attack from multiple directions. Confusion spreads through their ranks as they try to figure out what's happening. A man with a lever-action rifle pops up from behind a fence. I put a blast of buckshot into the post beside his head, and he drops back down, splinters flying. Kristen flanks left while I keep the shooter pinned. When the man tries to run, she drops him with a single shot to the center of mass. 2 more road crew members spill out of the front door of a house, shooting at anything that moves. The assault continues as God blesses our efforts. The road crew bandits are doing what we hoped, retreating toward their base, which, if all continues to go well, will send them into the waiting sights of Roger and Mike. "How many rounds do you got left?" Sam Wilder, the youngest of our group, asks, his voice tight with stress. 10 for the shotgun, full mag for my pistol. You?" 7. That's it. We need to wrap this up soon." I nod in agreement as we press forward. Kristen has fallen back after one of our own took a bullet, doing what she can to stem the bleeding. They killed another outright, leaving us with 6. "We're almost there," I whisper as we push the bandits toward State Street. "If they keep this up, they'll walk straight into the trap we've set." "Fall back," one of the women with us whispers. "We don't want to get caught in the crossfire." "Over here," I motion to the restaurant where we used to meet B and the others for coffee. The firefight scarred the building, but the solid-looking brick should offer cover. 3 of you stay back. 2, come with me. We'll take the front. Keep low and out of the line of fire, but don't let them retreat. This ends now. We reach the front of the building, which faces State Street, in time to witness Roger's team begin their assault. Mike's men positioned themselves to prevent anyone from escaping down the riverbank. The ambush is quick and brutal and over in seconds. Wow, Sam Wilder murmurs. Wow indeed. Let's check them, I say. Make sure they are no longer a threat. Stay sharp. With the help from Roger's team, we check each of the marauders. One of the wounded is leaning against the wall of the restaurant. Blood seeps through his fingers where he's holding his thigh, spreading across the wooden sidewalk. Weapon away from you, now. He pushes the shotgun across the floor with his good leg. I kick it further away. The wounded man looks up at me, pain and fear mixing in his eyes. He can't be over 30, probably has a family somewhere. In the old world, I might have felt sorry for him. I need a doctor, he gasps. The woman who could have helped you is dead. Your buddies killed her. His face goes pale as the implications sink in. I didn't shoot anyone. I went along with everyone because I had to. I just followed orders. Whose orders? Troy Kaiser. He's running this whole thing. Said you all have supplies, food, medicine. Said nobody would fight back, that we could take what we needed, that we no longer had to be banished to the hotel and campground. He said we could take the town. Kaiser. I should have seen this coming. When the crew bosses abandoned their workers after the planes crashed and bridges blew up, after the cyber attack took out the power, Kaiser was the natural leader, smart enough to organize them, mean enough to do whatever it took to survive. Where's Kaiser now? I haven't seen him, but I know the museum was on his list. He pointed across the street to the museum on the corner. He took 2 others with him, said there'd be things in there to make living in the apocalypse easier. The museum was across the street from the convenience store burning on the corner. Had he been in there the entire time? While we were making our plan to stop these guys, had he been watching us? Kristen shows up and offers to treat the wounded. We don't need prisoners, Roger says, lifting his rifle. Kill him. The elementary teacher steps in front of the injured man. We won't be doing that. There's been enough death tonight. From the look on her face, I can only assume the wounded man she was treating earlier died. Roger must notice it too. He drops his rifle and steps back. Wouldn't want to waste a bullet, he mutters. Most of the road crew are dead or have fled, but Kaiser's group is still unaccounted for. Still in the museum, I suppose. Or perhaps they saw the tides turn and took off. Part of me hopes that's the case, but most of me knows we can't risk it. We'd always be expecting him to come back, to get even. Through the smoke and turmoil, I take in the museum building. Constructed between 1916 and 1919, it originally housed offices and several businesses. One section preserves what was once the local drugstore. It wasn't until the early 1990s that the building became a museum. As the injured bandit had said, there were items on display that could make riding out the apocalypse easier. At least there were before the disasters began. We had already moved anything useful, including the old cast-iron grain mill, to a secure location. We need to flush them out, Roger says, motioning with his rifle muzzle in the general direction of the museum. What about the roof of the old bank? Someone asks. The old bank is part of the museum but is a separate building separated by an empty lot. We could put someone up there to act as a sniper while we flush out Kaiser and his men. I'll go, I offer. Tom, you're the mayor. Our town needs you alive. Our town needs this finished. Keep the back door clear. Assault from the front. They might think they have an out and take it. I'm going with you, Sam says. Count me in, another man suggests. If there are 3 of them, we should be good to go. It's like hunting deer, right? I choose not to answer. So far, tonight has been nothing like hunting deer, but I'm putting off thinking about it until we're done. Take my rifle, Roger offers, handing me his 30-06. Better for that kind of thing than the shotgun. I answer with a nod. He's right, of course. Roger and his team give us time to get into position. We're barely settled when his voice carries across the night sky. Come on out of there. You're surrounded. Gunfire, and plenty of it, answers the order. I wonder if Kaiser thought he could simply hide in the museum until the assault ended. What was his plan afterwards? Sneak out of town with whatever treasures he uncovered? What would he even take? The stuffed black-footed ferret from the Made in Me Teetsy section? The rediscovery in 1981 put our town back on the map, but it won't be much use in the world we live in now. No cars, no phones, no electricity, and little food. Stuffed replicas would feed no one. Something's happening, Sam whispers, his eyes trained on the back door of the museum. Movement, barely noticeable in the moonlight, but there. Wait until they're all outside, I say, keeping my voice low. Don't want to spook them. Whoever comes out first is Sam's target. I'll take the second guy. That leaves number 3 for me, the deer hunter adds, a quiver to his tone. Take a deep breath. Remember what you know, I tell him. I refuse to use the deer hunting analogy. We wait only a few seconds before a head pokes out and looks around. Soon, a man steps out and presses against the wall, Sam's target. Another follows, his stride purposeful as he enters the alley. Kaiser, I'm sure of it. My rifle is in place, and I move my eye to the scope, lining up the crosshairs. They're all 3 out, Sam mutters. Find your target, I instruct. Ready? Ready, both men reply. Fire. I fire my first shot, recover from the recoil, and bring the scope back onto my target. He's down and not moving. Another shot sounds next to me. I move away from the eyepiece to survey the situation. 3 men all on the ground, all unmoving. I glance towards Sam. He's pale but composed. He clears his throat. The other man murmurs, "It's not like deer hunting." I pat his shoulder and say, "No, but we did what we had to do to keep our town safe, to keep our friends and family safe." The 3 of us climb down from the roof and join the other survivors. We count our losses as smoke drifts across the dawn sky. Charlie at the welcome station, 22 years old, nothing but a kid. B, who never turned away anyone who needed help. Dozens of others, too. Some shot in their homes, others on the street. Our hearts ache for the losses as we count our blessings and thank God the weapons turned against us failed. Our town is broken and battered, but we did not suffer defeat. Together, we will rebuild, not only our buildings, but the spirit that makes this community strong. Teacher Kristen Riley is doing what she can for the injured. Her hands are steady, and she seems to have at least some idea of what she's doing. As the sun rises over what's left of State Street, I stand looking at the damage. Broken windows everywhere, bullet holes in walls, scorch marks on asphalt. Mike's Corner station is still burning. It'll take months to rebuild, years to get back to what we were. Is that even possible with the way the world is today? I'm not sure. But we're alive. We fought back when someone tried to destroy our home, and we won. Roger walks up beside me, his rifle slung over his shoulder. There are new lines on his face, carved by grief and loss, but his eyes are clear. Think that's the end of it? He asks. For now, but there'll be others. Desperate people, hungry people, people who think they can take what we've built instead of building something themselves. And what'll we do? I check the load of my shotgun. The familiar weight feels good in my hands. Same thing we did tonight. We'll make them wish they'd picked somewhere else to try their luck. Roger nods. B would have approved. She always said this town is worth fighting for. She was right. We stand in comfortable silence as the sun climbs higher, revealing the full extent of the damage. It looks like a war zone, which I suppose it was, but it's our war zone, our town, our home. We will rebuild, because that's what you do when someone tries to destroy your home. You fight back, you survive, you rebuild, and you make sure no weapon turned against you will succeed.
This has been No Weapon Will Succeed, a Havoc in Wyoming bonus story by Millie Copper. Produced by CU Publishing LLC and presented by Killer Cozies. Learn more about Millie Copper's books at milliecopper.com.